Hey y'all, welcome to the UGC Podcast, where I'll be introducing you to amazing UGC creators from all over the world with all types of backgrounds and in whatever level they are currently in. From beginners to super experts, this podcast was made for you to learn about UGC and also get to meet the brilliant people that create UGC content. So if you're looking to start your UGC journey, this podcast is for you. And I hope you enjoy it, so let's get started. Hey everybody, thank you so much for joining the UGC podcast today. I am so excited to have Mehr on the podcast. Woo!
Hi!
Thank you so much for being here. Before we get started, I just want to announce to please stick around at the end so I can share some brands that are actually looking for UGC creators. So stick around to the end, y'all. Okay, so now we can get started. And Mehr, so the audience and me wants to get to know you a little bit better. So I have a list of questions before we start with like your UGC journey, okay? Okay. Firstly, where are you from?
I'm from Toronto, Ontario. So that's in Canada for anyone that doesn't know where Toronto is.
Is it right now cold over there? I've always imagined Canada. I've never been. I've always imagined Canada to be like freezing. And I've seen some pictures where like the snow is piled up.
Sorry.
Oh, it's all good.
Yeah, it is freezing here right now. It's the temperature. It's 2 degrees, but it literally feels like -5. And like the weather here is really erratic. I feel like maybe people don't realize, but it can be snowing here one day and then like raining here one day. Like it's like summer one day. Like it's very bipolar weather. So you definitely have to like be dressed for any occasion.
Oh gosh. So it's kind of like, I live in Colorado, and Colorado is definitely, at least in Denver, definitely like that. I feel like the other day it was like in the 70s and then the next day it was like in the 30s. I don't know
yeah,
where.
Fahrenheit, right.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, in Fahrenheit.
No, that makes sense. Yeah, no, like honestly today, like I dropped my boyfriend off like at the train station so he could go downtown.
Mm-hmm.
It was freezing. I was wearing a sweater, I was wearing a jacket, sweatpants.
Oh my gosh.
Heated seats. Oh my God.
Yeah, no, I can only imagine. One day I'll have to go and see for myself.
Definitely.
Okay, what's the last show you've binged on?
Okay, so the last show that I binge watched, I'm actually obsessed with. So it's called The Blacklist. I really like that show. Honestly, it's a lot different than the TV shows that I usually watch because I'm like a Grey's Anatomy, Friends, that 70s show like type of girl.
Yeah.
And so my boyfriend was like, oh, let's try something different. So we started The Blacklist, and honestly, James Spader, amazing acting. Like it kept me going to like the very end, and there's like one more season coming out, and I just released it in February, so I'm waiting for it to hit Netflix. But I'm very excited.
Okay, that's good to know. I haven't heard of that one, The Blacklist. So I probably have to add that to my list. I recently binged on You.
Okay.
But before that, I don't know if you've heard of the show 1899.
I haven't.
That one is a pretty good show. It's kind of like, I like shows that kind of like play with your mind a little bit.
Then you'll really like The Blacklist.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah, I'm excited to watch it then. Yeah, I love those kind of shows where they're like, it's like mystery, but then it is like plays with your mind and reality and stuff like that. And so if you like The Blacklist, maybe you like 1899 as well.
Okay, cool. Maybe I'll give it a try because, yeah, my boyfriend and I are always looking for, like, stuff to watch. Like, we're really big, like, dinner in front of the TV eaters, which I know that people say, like, it's not good, but that's just our thing.
Yeah.
And, like, right now, he's just going through old seasons of Hell's Kitchen. So maybe something else would be nice.
That'd be a lot better. Yeah, my boyfriend actually right now, he's going through this phase of wanting to watch, like, Star Trek. And I think
mine's a no Star Wars kick right now.
Really?
He got the video game. Oh yeah, he got the video game, and yesterday he was like watching random clips of it. So I feel your pain.
Yeah, I'm just like watching and like, what's going on, and like all these alien things. And he's just trying to explain to me with like all this passion, and I'm like, word, okay.
That's nice.
yeah, exactly. I was like, oh, cool story, bro. Okay, what's your favorite dish?
So my background, I'm Indian, and I love Indian food so so much. So like picking my favorite dish, I feel like it would have to be an Indian food dish, and I like it's called palak paneer, so it's like spinach but like a cottage cheese. Ooh. But my like second favorite cuisine is Thai food. I love Thai food. So like any curry, like a drunken noodle, like a pad Thai, I'm there all day, every day.
Yeah, that sounds so good. Oh,
yeah. I love like anything with like basil in it. Oof, like.
Yeah, the basil flavor just gives it, especially like in Thai food. What's that dish?
Oh, it's so good. I just can't like. So good.
I actually, I was in Thailand a few years ago.
Oh my God, I'm so lucky.
One of my favorite things, and I recommend it to anyone that like goes to Thailand, like do a cooking class. It's so fun to like learn how to like make the food. The thing is, as soon as I got home, like I could not like recreate the food how I did at the cooking class, which was like a little bit sad. I could do like an extension of it, but like nothing compared to like how it was cooking with someone.
Yeah, like, no, I love cooking. Like I'm really good at it. Like I take a lot of pride in like being able to cook, and I've like taught myself recipes, so I know that there's certain things like in Thai food that's really important. Mind you, my stove is never gonna get hot enough to like replicate like what they have in like restaurants.
Yeah.
In terms of like the woks and stuff, but in terms of the flavors, I kind of sort of have it nailed, not perfectly, but I don't have the right chilies and you know all that stuff. But I'd love to do that. I love Thailand. I love elephants, all that jazz. Like
yeah. You should do a UGC kind of like styled video for like a Thai food brand or something like that. And
you know what I had? It's really funny you say that. Like I had they did like the box like frozen Chinese food,
right?
And I couldn't do it because I'm in Canada and there's so many opportunities that like I get like gypped up because I'm not American. But they said that like I'm a vegetarian too, so they had some veggie options, but I thought that was really cool. I really want to get more into like food UGC. I just signed a deal recently with like a food delivery service.
Oh,
so
cool.
I'm really excited to like kind of see like once the stuff comes, like how I'm gonna make the, you know, meals and whatever.
Yeah. Oh, exciting. I'm excited to look at those videos too later on.
Me too. They're organic videos too, so it'll be like for real. You know what I mean?
Yeah. How cool. Oh, I haven't gotten to that point yet, but I still need to look for, because I'm vegan. I need to look for vegan brands for food. So, I have reached out to one where like they make, it's kind of like this nut milking machine, and I have to do a follow-up. That's what I'm missing.
Yeah, for sure. Like definitely like tell them like what aligns with you. I find that like for me, when I was like trying to pitch to fitness brands a lot, because I'm really into fitness as well, I used like my picture, like send like pictures of your meals and stuff. It might help.
Okay, I'm gonna try to do one. Yeah. This picture of me like milking the like the almonds or something, milking the oats like in the bag.
Like, hey, like I'd really like to do this for real.
Yeah. This is my hobby. Okay. When or once you found like your ideal client that pays you like super great, what is the first thing that you'll do or that you have done?
So usually I'm assuming like after the contracts and everything have been signed, I will immediately just like try to script for what they'd like me to do. Like I really go through the brief. Usually in the brief, there's information of just like key points to mention. There are very few brands that will actually give you the script. The brief is just usually like, here are the USPs, here are some of the shots we'd like to see, but the rest is kind of up to your discretion. So I'll just try to build a script, usually around like what they want to see, and that helps me just like stay organized so that I'm not overwhelmed when the packages arrive, because I was in the middle of moving like from Vancouver to Toronto because I was out there for work as well. And I remember I had packages piled up and I was like freaking out because I was like, oh my God, like I do not know what to do. Like I took a deep breath, and the first thing I did was I scripted. And the second I finished all my scripts, I knew exactly where to put my tripod. I knew exactly what shots I wanted to take. I knew exactly what I wanted to say. And it just makes the process so much faster.
What do you use anything to like create your scripts, or is it just kind of like in your head?
Honestly, like you can use ChatGPT. Like I really do lean on ChatGPT a little bit to kind of give me a little bit of inspiration. Obviously, like also like the TikTok Creative Center, just kind of seeing like what the top performing ads are, and just like pulling a little bit of inspo from them. So like just like mashing up the two. I find ChatGPT gives me really good buzzwords that I can use in my scripts. And really good like shots to take, and then like the Creative Center also does the same, but it gives me a good idea of just like, you know, like what kind of transitions to use, how I want the text on screen to appear, how people are doing it. So I really just like pull from both.
Okay, cool. That's a great idea. I actually saw a video, I think it was last night. I'm like a little bit of an insomniac, so I stay a little bit late. So I was like looking at this video where they used ChatGPT to create kind of like a content calendar. And I was like, you can do that? I did not know that. And just like the ideas it gives you. I know. I was like, oh my God. And then I kind of like did that with one of like the brands I'll be working with soon. And I was like, oh wow, these are like pretty good ideas. Obviously I have like more ideas in mind, but to like fill in the gaps for upcoming videos, it's great too.
No, it's a great tool. Use it to your advantage, because if you were sitting here thinking about like, oh my God, what am I supposed to say? Like you're gonna drive yourself crazy. And a lot of like the really big creators, I'm pretty sure they probably lean on it for inspo as well. Like AI is just so big right now. There's no way you can't be using it.
Yeah, exactly. Let me see. Okay. Let me move on to the next one. Okay, so how did you start with your UGC journey?
When did I start?
Yeah, like how did it all get started? What got you interested in it?
So I kept seeing it on TikTok. I'm like, oh my God. So I was working in Vancouver for my previous company, and I've always been in a sales role, and I've always loved marketing. My degree is also like a specialization in marketing, but I never really got the opportunity to kind of like get a career in marketing. Marketing careers, depending on like what level you're on as well, they don't pay nearly as lucratively as my industry and in the role that I'm in. So I never pursued it. But then like I just would see all these girls like becoming influencers, and I was like, you know what, like I want to be an influencer. I moved away from my hometown. I don't know any people here, but let me be an influencer. And then I'm like, oh my God, like this is hard. Like I don't know if I want to do this anymore. Like it was a lot of work. TikTok's demoralizing. You don't get likes, you don't get views. And I was like, oh, I'm so over this. And then I saw people talking about UGC, and it was one creator particularly. I really like her. She's from Toronto. Her name is Danielle, and I saw that she posted like a video about like, you know, UGC something, like why you should start or something like that. And I was like, you know what, like I'm gonna do some research. So I went on TikTok, I did some research, I made a portfolio, spent a lot of time on it. That was like in October, November. I wasn't really dedicating like full days to it. It was more like an hour here, an hour there. I'd see stuff and get me riled up again, and then I like go and work on it for a whole bunch of time. But I'd say like December is when I really got into it, because I took a lot of time off for Christmas break, just because like for salespeople, Christmas is the best time to take time off. No one's working. So I dedicated myself to my portfolio, making my Twitter account, engaging with people, and I started to see some traction. My portfolio videos were garbage though. Like I was making videos based off of just like what I'd seen on TikTok. So like it's so funny because I have a viral video right now that's talking about, oh, you can do UGC in your house if it's like not aesthetic, sorry. And it's technically product photography, what I was doing in that clip. But the video I made out of it could have like was a UGC video. Like I opened the lotion up and I have text on screen and it's my hands and I'm using it. It's like an aesthetic UGC.
Right.
But I'm like, oh my God, this is going viral. And I'm like, this is not what I want to be known for. But I put on the TikTok, but like I know this is product photography, like you can still, like as a UGC creator, I still get asked to do product photography, right? So like it doesn't matter. Like deal on Upwork, I think in December for like $110.
Wow.
Yeah, and then I landed another deal in December on Fiverr for like $150. But I don't like either of those platforms, if I'm being completely honest.
Okay. I was just gonna ask you more about them too.
Yeah, like Fiverr banned me because I posted my videos with a watermark on it, and they're like, "Oh, you're not allowed to do that." And I was like, "Okay, whatever. Like, I'm so over this platform."
Yeah.
Upwork is fine. I just didn't like the fees they were taking, so I had like a social media management client approach me, and she was like, "Hey, I want you to do this for me," and I was like, "I can." Comfortable with that, then I don't want to do this because I'm like, it's taking my money away. Like, I don't want to get into this. She was okay with it. We have a great relationship. We're still working together, so and I'm working out. But then like in January is when I really started to like hit the ground running, like tweeting, like posting, sharing as much as I could. I had a few baby deals trickle in. Like I networked with some people, so they threw me a bone, kind of. February was kind of the same. Like February in the beginning started like pick up a little bit, and then it kind of fizzled out. At the end of February, I was like inbound city. I don't know what was going on, but I was getting so many inbounds. I had like 4 or 5 inbounds, and the deals were like
really
$600, like $300, and I was like, okay, sick. But then I'll become really transparent. Like March was like a dead month for me personally. Like I did not really get any inbounds during March. I do take a lot of pride in sending outbounds, so whatever I did secure in March was literally from outbounds. And I kind of tried to make myself feel better, and I was like, you know what, like it's the end of the first quarter. People have used their budget, which is why, think about it, like maybe at the end of February you had so many people approach you.
Yeah.
I still have so many deliverables from February that are going to get pushed into April just because the product's not here yet, stuff like that. Right? So I was like, okay, like it'll be fine. And it wasn't really like a money issue for me. Like I know some people like really rely on money, but knock on wood, like grace of God, like I don't have to rely on that. So I was still down on myself because I am me and that's just what I do.
Yeah.
But yeah, like at the end of February, I had a bunch, so I was able to complete some projects, make a decent income for March, because of the February. They came in like right at the end of February, like the 28th. So like I guess you could call it March, but it's not.
Yeah.
But the income counts for March. So then the end of March, which is around now, like a day ago or so, like I had like 3 inbounds come in, like I've signed like 3 deals, and I'm like, okay, but it's the start of like the second quarter, so I'm like, maybe there's like some sort of like correlation here, I don't know.
Yeah.
But there's definitely like inconsistency. You know, I look at the creators that are doing it full time, they're relying solely on inbounds because they can, and I've only been doing this for like 2.5 months, if I'm being completely honest, like going on, like finishing 3 now, considering I feel like I did fully start in January. That's when my Twitter started to grow and everything. So I've been doing it for 3 months, and I'm like, I can't really get down on myself, and you can't compare yourself. I'm really learning that about myself, that like I love to compare myself to other people, and like you can't do that in this space. It'll drive you crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
Because people on Twitter are never gonna post their bad stuff. They're only gonna post their good stuff because they know that brands are watching. So if you're having a bad week, why would you say you're having a bad week, right? Like that might like make brands not want to work with you. But I don't think there's anything wrong with, you know, saying that, oh, like I had a bit of a slow this or a bit of a slow that. And a lot of the friendships that I've made in UGC are because of the transparency factor. Like we kind of confide in each other. Like, yeah, I'm having a hard time with this. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. At least for me, February was also very slow, but I did also like start in January, and like the only reason why like I made like 1 deal in January, which I was lucky because they were looking for German speakers, and I speak German.
Nice.
And so I was like, okay, cool, and only based in the US too. So I was like, okay, well, I'm glad this happened. And then obviously there was like Amazon, like those people that write to you like, hey, we'll send you this Amazon kind of like product for free in exchange of a review. And those were my main things probably for like January and a little bit of February. But like when it came to like big gigs, I guess, or like non-gifted ones, it was definitely more March that started to come in. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. No, I literally, like, I shit you not, like, I did not really see much for March at all. Like, everything that I had signed was in February, and I was moving in March, so like it was really very hard for me. Like, I signed this condo. It was not furnished. I'm buying furniture. I'm between my parents' house, which is an hour away from Toronto. In Toronto, like, starting a new job. So like I think I was just like really hard on myself. I'm like, I'm not posting the content that I want. I'm not signing the deals that I want. I'm not signing the outbounds that I want. And so like my March was just like so frazzled that like I needed to give myself a little bit of grace.
Yeah, of course.
That being said, I knew there were creators signing deals. The whole time, my entire March, I'm not gonna lie, I was like, why not me? Why am I not getting deals? Is my content not good? Like, you know, whatever I landed from outbounds. So yeah, no, it does bother me. It bothers anybody, right? Like, you have a slow month, but now April's like super jam-packed, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm overwhelmed. So yeah,
it's positive too, like you're getting.
I think sometimes, like, I think about it too. I'm like really spiritual, and I honestly think about it where I'm like, wow, like I had all these deals come in at the end of February, and I did still manage to make a decent income for March on top of whatever my social media client paid me. And it's like, God knew that, like, you know what, this girl's gonna be really busy. Like, I'm only gonna give her what she can handle. And I didn't send any I sent outbounds, and I secured 2 deals that I signed yesterday from the outbounds that I did send out, that were like in the process during March. So you kind of just gotta keep the faith, you know? Like, I don't have a lot of experience with Amazon. Like, there's creators killing it with Amazon. I, for the life of me, can't get a response. I don't know. Like, I bought a guide from one of the creators. It's okay. Like, it kind of just talked about things that I already kind of knew. But still, nonetheless, I bought a guide to support another creator, and I kind of want to try it and, you know, see what it gets me. But yeah.
Yeah, I still haven't like dipped my feet fully into that. I mean, I've gotten kind of like Amazon deals where they're like, hey, exchange a gift exchange and stuff like that, and for a review. But like where I asked them, hey, I have never reached out to them actually. They've always come to me.
Okay, nice.
So I think I know this crew. I think her name is Paula. She
Paula is the one that I bought the guide from, actually. It's a good guide, but like I'm very big in self-education. I had self-educated myself so much that when I read Paula's guide, I was like, girl, like I already know all this stuff. But it's not Paula's fault. Yeah. Because Paula's like, if you want to get started, read this guide. Very helpful guide. I had just already self-educated myself, and I thought that like there's more to it. Yeah. Which is what bothers me, because I'm like, damn, there's no more to it. Like, I'm literally doing it all. So I think it really just comes down to consistency. Yeah. But like Paula's posts are honestly like so inspirational, and I love that it's working out for her. She's killing it. So.
Yeah. No, yeah, she's doing really great, and like all the information she's sharing is also like golden as well.
Yeah, it's so golden. You don't even realize, like, there are some creators out there that have amazing guides, but there is still a way for you to self-educate yourself. Yeah, absolutely. That being said, I'm not saying that they don't have nuggets of gold in there. 100% they do. But I realized that, like, I maybe because I'm kind of like a bookworm nerd like that. Like, I educated myself and I'm learning like a good chunk of the stuff, and I've seen the overview of their guides, and it's very like beginner friendly. Like they want you to buy the guide if you're thinking about getting started. But when you're 3 months in and you've already gotten started, then it's like the first few chapters won't really be relevant to you. Yeah. But that being said, like, props to those creators, because they also put out so much free stuff. Like, what's her name? UGC Social. I love her. Kelly. Oh my God. I think that she puts out like such great information. And like, I have like a marketing background with my education as a marketing, so a lot of what she says does resonate with me. Like, I understand it. Sean, she's great too. She's in Calgary. I honestly find her extremely helpful. She's a wonderful person. So, you know, just like relying on people that are actually putting out free stuff, right? That you can learn quite a bit.
Yeah, and like YouTube as well has like a lot, and I think a lot of them also have YouTube as well, where they have videos where they go deeper into like what they already show on TikTok. Although the TikTok videos are already pretty great, anyways, straight to the point.
Like, I have the attention span of a freaking noodle, so like I can't. But like, I definitely watch their TikToks. I think that they're such inspirational people for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Have you ever worked with a mentor yet, or?
I haven't. I haven't. I feel like my entire life I've just always been like that like weird person that like I never really like adopt things like that. But I people that I follow because like I think that they stick to their guns. Their message is consistent. And that's what I like to see. I don't like people that are like here one time, there one time. Those are the two things that I really like about Sean and I really like about Kelly is that like they're very like concise in, like what they're talking about. And I remember talking to Sean one time. We were kind of like, it's really important that when you start your journey, if you are going to like try and find a mentor or try and find like a creator that you really like, you stick to one person. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I forget what her name is too. Rebel Socials.
Yes.
I don't know. I forget what her name is, but she's all over the place. She's great too. And there's Ravina. I really like Ravina's content as well. But like for me personally, I've just kind of like taken myself towards like Sean and Kelly just because like when I started, I saw a lot of their stuff first. Yeah. And I've met Sean, so that really also like helped. Yeah, solidify that kind of like trust. So, but there are so many amazing ones. You can pull from like each one of their little tidbits. And I have a sales background. I've been working in sales for 5 years. Won awards. I've sold God knows how much, and I sell service as well. So I'm really good at like the pitching, like the cold outreach and all of that. So I never really believed in like, oh yeah, I just started UGC like a month ago and now I've learned everything, so I'm gonna sell a guide. Hell no. Like those girls have worked so hard for so long, and that's why they can put out those guides. I can only offer you like if you need help with pitching, like if you want like to help with the portfolio, because I'm in sales, I do a lot of that already. I've been doing it for 5 years. So that's my strength, right? Maybe one day, maybe a year from now, I can put out a guide, but definitely not today. Monetizing what's up here, I like to share a lot of it, but if people do ever need help, like I'm always like, I'll literally help you with your pitch. I'll help you with everything. Yeah,
that's very helpful too, because pitching for me is my weakness, especially because I suck at writing. So I
do too, honestly, and I try to make my pitches casual. And like I did put up a pitch for sale. It was like $5. Yeah. And I did more of like a fill in the blank template where like I guide you and I tell you what to put in because the remainder can be generic, right? You really want that first portion to be personalized, and whatever else you're highlighting about yourself needs to be concise. Because at the end of the day, like, the person receiving the email is like, yo, these people do the exact same thing. Like, what is your differentiation factor? So I'll throw in a video I created that's like similar to their niche. You know what I mean? Like I'll try and like make myself stand out, and it has worked for me. So I'm definitely gonna try and use a lot of the other deals that I've just made. Use that content, send it to other brands that are in those niches to be like, hey, like I've worked with this brand, right? Like social proof. So
I think I wrote to you once where you were giving out tips on pitching as well and how you sent the videos, and I think you said that you attach a Google Drive link in there.
Yeah, so I attached the video and it puts it into a Google Drive link, and I have had people, like I worked with Magic Spoon recently. That's like a huge brand for me to have like worked with. Again, like being a Canadian creator, I feel like I just think everything is special versus US creators are like, oh yeah, that's a brand. You know what I mean? Like, I don't get that stuff at my grocery store. I gotta order it online, so it's special for me. You know what I mean? Yeah. But yeah, no, definitely. Like when you're pitching, it's just brands feel special. You know what I mean? So I send a link, and so yeah, I've used my Magic Spoon video that I created, and I sent it to a couple of brands, and they're like, wow. Like I love this, like I want to work with you, but I can't work with you until X date. And I'm like, you know what? I put the seed there. It's okay. Yeah. But some other brands, they're like, oh my God, I love this. Yes, let's work together. Amazing. So I'm like, okay, no. So yeah, I definitely like use it to your advantage. Don't let being sent to spam scare you. Download a mail tracker, try everything.
Yeah.
There's so many ways to get in touch with people. So
that's true. Yeah. I still kind of like, I'm still working on it, and I still have to remind myself, kind of like what you said, we're just starting off in this journey.
You're just starting off. Yeah. And like honestly, I think that like the reason I am the way that I am when it comes to sales is because like it's my career. Like I have targets. If I don't meet my target, they're gonna like boot me. So every day, like I have to like work to improve myself. How can I get in touch with these brands? Like cold calling doesn't bother me. Cold emailing doesn't bother me. Stopping by the brand and offering my services doesn't bother me. But for some people, that is super nerve-wracking because they've never done anything like that before, right? So it's definitely like getting out of your comfort zone. And just putting yourself out there. Because what's the worst they're going to say? They're just going to say no. And be like, okay, on to the next one. Right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I actually had like my first discovery call the other day. And I was like sweating so much. Kind of like the first podcast that I did. I remember talking to my first podcast guest. And I'm like, I am sweating so much. I'm like drenched because of how nervous I was. But
it's a great skill that you have, like being able to do this. Like this is amazing, right? Like, a lot of people can't do it. So good for you.
Yeah, I mean, I actually wanted to do this also to kind of like challenge myself too, like not only like meet other UGC creators that are also starting the journey or have been like, or like me. I don't know if you know Santiago, the UGC boy.
I don't think so.
He was my last guest. And I still have to edit the podcast, but we decided to call kind of like UGC creators that have been in the game for a while, elder UGC creators. So like I'm hoping to get an elder UGC creator on the podcast in the future soon.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, this is just kind of like to get me out of my comfort zone and to also get me like more comfortable to also talk to brands as well. I mean, the brand call actually that I had, or the discovery call that I had the other day, turned out that they liked me, and now I have like a deal with them now. Yay! So
no, that's amazing. Honestly, like your personality will shine through whenever it takes like the first 5 minutes is like a warm up, and then like after that, like you start to warm up and your personality starts to come through, and everything will be okay. Like I am someone that like heavily relies on their personality to literally get them through everything. I'm a fake it till you make it kind of girl.
I mean, it's worked out though, right?
I mean, you gotta like have faith. You gotta trust the process. I've done a few things in my life where like I was like, shit, man, like I could never see myself getting there. Like I lost like a lot of weight before, and I was like, like it was visibly like there. Like I was like 70 pounds heavier than I am now at like 5'1". So like I lost a bunch of weight, and I was like, you did that. You know what I mean? Like you did that. Like I got my master's, and I could barely pass like grade 11 math, right? And it's an MBA, so like there was math involved in that too, right? And I was like, okay, like you did that, right? So when I first like cracked my salary goal for myself at a pretty good age, I was like, okay, you did that. So you kind of like give yourself like props along the way, and it gives you confidence to like believe in yourself, and eventually you kind of feel like, oh, that's not impossible. Like, well, what's the worst that could happen if I tried?
Yeah.
That's the one thing that like I always tell myself, like just freaking try it.
Yeah.
Just try it. It'll be fine. Unless it's something food related, then I'll probably squirm a little bit.
Yeah.
But if it's like anything life related, like I picked up my bags and I moved to Vancouver for 6 months. Quit the company I was working at, got a job at a new company in Toronto. Like just everything will be okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what I tell myself. So same thing goes for this stuff. Everything will be okay.
I love that mindset. I love like also thinking like also if you never try you never know, or what's meant for you won't pass you by. I think that's one of the things that I always say to like myself and my friends, like what's meant for you won't pass you by.
Exactly. Like I'm a huge crier too. Like I love to cry about everything. Like I was at my parents' house last weekend. I was crying because gas prices were so high. Like I cry about everything. Yeah. And like I always, my mom and my boyfriend like will always tell me like everything is okay. Like you blow things up in your head. That's another thing. We as people like we blow things up in our heads so much, and to the next person they're like, this is nothing. Like you're crying because there's a ladybug on the ground, and you're acting like it's like a freaking giant ass spider. You know what I mean? Yeah. So you always have to remember that like your thoughts aren't reality. So I've been really into like the whole manifestation thing lately. And I see a lot of people tweeting like, oh yeah, like I'm a lucky girl, or I'm abundance and all that stuff. And I saw this in TikTok post, and this girl was like, all that's really nice. She goes, but do you believe it? Like on a fundamental level, or do you believe it? Because there's people that are like, oh, you have to live like you have it. I disagree. It's very hard to live like you have something. That takes a whole, like, I don't have a rainbow shoved up my butt. You know what I mean? Like, but can I tell myself that, like, you know what? You're going to be okay. And at one point, this is going to happen for you. Just have faith that it will happen for you.
Yeah.
You know, or not even that if, like, it will happen for you.
Yeah.
Just hold the faith. Having a bad day, just believe that, like, something better is coming. That's what I do. So even if I'm having a really crappy day, I'm like, it's just a one step closer to getting me to where I need to be. Because I can't fake the whole, like, I'm a lucky girl. It's very hard. I can't do it. It's exhausting, mentally exhausting.
Definitely is. Last year, I was very much into kind of like, was it last year? Yeah, I think it was beginning of last year. I was very much into kind of like the spiritual manifesting stuff. And it definitely is very tiring mentally. Yeah, for sure. And like, I had to like take a step back and be like, I can't do this right now. I still do kind of like sometimes like my baths, or like I have like my little altar as well, and like those two things definitely center me, and I feel then more kind of like relaxed and more abundant. And so like I allow myself to kind of like, okay, let go, and then like what's meant for me, again, what's meant for me won't pass me by. And like that's really helped me a lot.
It's definitely like a belief system thing. Like, I look at my boyfriend and like, man, that guy has like no worries in the world. Like, he's always like, everything will be fine. I mean, yeah, he stresses out over like silly things, but fundamentally, like life wise, like I really, really like how like his outlook on life. Like, why are you so worried everything will work out? Like, there were times in Vancouver, I still remember, I was so miserable with my job, and I was like crying every day. He's like, baby, like everything will be okay. And I'm here like a month later, and I'm like, God damn, everything is okay. You know, like it's going okay. Like,
now you're back closer to your home.
Yeah, it's so nice. Yeah, Vancouver's not for me. British Columbia is beautiful, but that city specifically is not for me.
Yeah. What was it, if I may ask?
Yeah, for sure. So I work in the supply chain industry, and the company that I was with previously, I was there for about 5 years. Oh, wow. And I decided to leave just because like it just didn't align with me anymore. I didn't have that same excitement, that same love that I did for the company. Like, I say 2 years prior to. My first 3 years with the organization were amazing, and then the last 2 years were just like not it. And I thought that like maybe changing my branch, you know, new management, I thought that it would like help. It didn't. And like my bitter work experience soured my experience in Vancouver. So I was like, you know what? Like, I'm so tired of being miserable. I'm gonna get myself a new job, and I'm gonna look to move back. And it didn't sound as easy as I'm making it sound. And my boyfriend, honestly, like, oh, that guy's insane. Like, he moved himself from Toronto, so like from Ontario, to Vancouver to be with me, because I was like, I'm taking this job. So he moved for me, quit his job, found a new job, moved for me. And then he quit his job again, found a new job, and moved back to Toronto with me. You know, like,
that's so cute.
He's freaking amazing. Like, I love him so much. But yeah, like, he was like my rock during that entire period. I had no parents out there, no siblings, no nothing. Like, it was just me and him.
Yeah.
And like, we supported each other like through all of it. So job interviews, like paying for like moving and everything, like knock on wood, like we're both doing very well. But it's a lot. Like, we're only 26. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we're still like babies, you know, like
Definitely.
more or less, and doing all that stuff. And he got pushed out of his comfort zone too, because like he'd never like lived out of his parents' house before, whereas I did for school, and I did like for a bit, a year or two in between. And so, you know, it was I taught him some stuff, and he taught me some stuff, and I think it's really brought us like closer together. Just because like, you know, it's such a stressful time in your life. So that's what happened. I do love BC though, because there's so much wildlife and beautiful nature everywhere. But I think it's just visiting for me now.
Yeah. Oh, but the thing is, now you know that,
Now I know.
Yeah.
Now I know. Like, here's the other thing, right? Like, he and I have really talking about, like, next steps in our relationship. And we're like, where are we going to live? Like, where do you want to live? And now he and I know that we really like where we live. Like, here. Mm-hmm. So we're like, if we're going to find a house, we're going to find it here. Like, we're not interested in leaving anytime soon. So it's very important that we did that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm still like in this process of like, where do I want to like live?
It's hard. Like, where do you want to like nest? You know what I mean? Like, with renting, you can just get up and but with a house, you're like, I gotta stay here. So
yeah, exactly. I actually saw this brand or like this company, and I'm kind of like interested and maybe, I don't know, pitching, but I don't know how it will work out, where they literally kind of like have apartments all over. Like, it's kind of, I wouldn't say Airbnb because it's like long-term stay, like 3 months.
Okay.
And everything's like furnished. Everything's like, they clean everything to the T. And every 3 months you have to just like move to like different places, and then you see what works out for you. It's like mainly for travel nurses or like people that are like digital nomads. But it just sounds like very interesting too. I was like, I like
to travel. It does sound pretty interesting. Like, if you're into that, like, I feel like you have to be really down to like living out of a suitcase almost. 3 months isn't a long time, right? I like to get cozy and comfy where I am. So I'm like, okay, like, I really need to find my forever home ASAP.
Yeah. No, it's I don't know. For me, it's like definitely learning about new places all the time, and I think, but that's also kind of like a problem for me because then I'm like, where am I gonna like stay, you know? But
for sure, like, even me, like, Toronto's not forever for me. Like, the city itself, there's so many other little cities outside of Toronto where I think I'd be best suited. But Toronto is a suburb where he really wanted to live, so I'm like, okay, I'll do it for you. You did that for me, I'll do that for you. So it's not that bad. I think he and I kind of have a good idea what city we want to live in after this. So I just told him, like, we'll see where life takes us. You know what I mean?
Just open to new opportunities. Yeah, within the city, obviously.
Much.
Yeah. Okay, let me ask another few questions.
Yeah, no worries.
What is your favorite platform to use to find collabs, actually?
To find collabs? So, like, I've noticed that I get picked off of TikTok quite often. People will be like, hey, like, I saw your TikTok, I like your energy, like, let's go. But there's creators that land deals off of Twitter like crazy. Girl, I have not landed a single deal off of Twitter.
My first one was actually from Twitter, but obviously, like, again, that was like totally lucky because they were looking for like US creators that spoke German, and I was like the first one to answer to like, hey, it's me.
Hey, no. I got an inbound yesterday on Twitter, and I considered it. I sent him my offer, so I'm still waiting to hear back. But like, TikTok, inbound wise, I get found. Outbound wise, again, I just look at what ads are running. I'll click through my TikTok, click through my Instagram, see who's running ads, make a list of brands, find their information, and pitch to them.
How do you find their information?
So I use a Chrome extension. So there's two. There's one called Clearbit, which is like a Chrome extension you put in, and then you search the brand's name, and it'll give you like their email address. And then the other one is called Apollo. So you can go on LinkedIn, and they'll like give you their information. So I have LinkedIn Premium. I pay for that because I do get a lot of value out of it. It is expensive. It's $100 a month. Yeah.
Oh, girl. Oh, wow.
Yeah. But like, it definitely, like, it's very beneficial to me. So the way that I see it is that like the LinkedIn that I use, and like my invoice processing platform, my Canva fee, those are all like, you know, my expenses for my business is how I see it. So like, yes, am I spending $1,200 in a year on LinkedIn? Yes, but how much business did that close me, right? Like, and I look at it that way. So yeah, I that's what I find is super helpful. Apollo and Clearbit. So those are two extensions that I use.
I'm gonna make sure to put that all in the notes, as well as the guide that you have for pitching as well. I'll put that in the notes as well.
For sure.
Make sure to like put everything there for people that want to, you know, do that. Okay. How do you, how many pitches do you do a day, actually?
So, like, it depends. Like, I haven't pitched in the last few days just because, like, I've been really, really busy, like, just getting deliverables done. I have this huge project I'm working on for a brand right now, and it takes up a little bit of but usually I try to send out like 10 to 15.
Okay. A
so,
day?
Yeah, so I'll do that. I'll sit here, I'll like research them, and I'll send them out. And then it's not like they reply, right? Like, you gotta follow up, so.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, wow, 10 to 15. I'm still working on, like, reaching that point. But I've always...
Pitching is a numbers game. Pitching is a numbers game. The more you do, the more likely, like, there's that guy, Brands Meet Creators, Mike, and like this is something I've always believed in, but he tweeted it. He basically tweeted what I was thinking, and it's like if you send 10 pitches in a day, right, or in the week you send 10, you're relying on luck to get a response back. But if you send 100, well then you're relying on yourself, right? You're relying on the odds of out of that 100 pitches, even if 3 reply. Like, that's a pretty good amount of deals. You could easily make, if they were like $300 a pop, it's $900 right there.
That's true.
So that's kind of how I see it. Now, am I sending 100 pitches a week? No. But, like, would I like to? Yeah. But I just don't think it's feasible for me right now. I think that, like, the number that I'm rolling with is good. I have a strong pitch, so, like, I do get responses, like, a decent amount of the time. They require a couple of follow-ups here and there, but I always try to make sure that they're optimized because I want people to get a lot of value out of them, which is why I always say, like, attach previous work, right? Like, if you go to spam, just, like, send it again without it. Like, that means that they never saw it anyways. What's the worst that could happen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I have to get better on my follow-ups for sure. That's me calling out myself, Consuelo. Because I'm like, all right, new day, new pitches. And then... like, I forgot to follow up the other people. And, yeah, that's just... I have to get, like, a checklist.
Following up is, like, key. I've had people that are like, oh, my God, thank you so much for following up. Send me your rates, right? Like, I signed a deal with a brand because I pitched to them through their online contact form on their website.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they didn't have an email. I couldn't figure it out. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm just going to fill out their contact form for, like, customer problems. She got back to me. She's like, I like your portfolio, send me your rates. We just signed the deal. It took her like a month.
Wow.
But like we signed the deal.
That's really cool. Yeah. And how when they ask you to like send your rates, do you kind of like send kind of like the same rates that you have in your portfolio, like just that? Or...
I hate sending rates. I literally hate it because they'll just send your rates and they'll be like, oh, like you're out of my budget. And it's like, okay, well, what's your budget? So always ask the brand first, like, do you mind me asking what your budget is? And they'll tell you, yeah, it's like $300, or it's like this much, it's like this much. And you're like, ooh, like, if it's below what you were gonna be like, hey, like, you would get the most bang for your buck out of a package. Like, you're only spending an extra $100, but this is how much more content you're getting, as an example, right? Yeah. For you, it's not as much work, because if it's like a package where you're like, okay, like, let me send you 4 fully finished concepts, 2 hooks, 2 calls to action, boom, one body of footage. All you need to do is tweak the top 2 and, you know, tweak the CTA. That's all you need to do. And you charge them like $500 to do that when their budget was like $300 for 4 videos. Well, I just gave you 4 videos, give me $500.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so that's the thing, right? So I just think that you got to figure out a way to like negotiate your way into it. Like, I had a guy come to me and he offered me, he's like, I want 3 videos, $300, and I want raw footage. And I'm like, sir, no, not happening. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I will give you raw footage, $100 flat. Mm-hmm. Sure, I'll give it to you for $100. Your 3 videos, I'm going to do 1 set of footage and 2 additional hooks.
Yeah.
That is 3 fully finished concepts, plus the raw footage, $400.
Did they accept? Oh, wow.
Yeah. Right? Like, you just have to figure out, like, a way to, like, make your life easier and figure out, like, how. Because, like, people charge per hook $50, right? Yeah. So, like, if your base rate for a video is $200, an extra $50 per hook is $300 plus the raw footage. So, technically, you are giving him what's in your package. You just made it, like, make more sense for them. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Would that count as well for, like, kind of like A/B testing as well if you send kind of like 2 different hooks and then 2 different bodies?
I guess like it really just depends in that case, because some people have A/B testing packages, right? Like
exactly.
I'll give it to you anyways, and your rate could be $200 for that if you know what I mean, like or whatever the case is. Because like filming a hug really isn't that hard, but like sure, you give a brand a little extra something, they always appreciate it. Like okay, my rate for one video is $200, and then I charge $50 extra for a hug, but you want A/B testing, so I'll sell it to you for $225. You got a deal either way, you know what I mean? So it really just depends on like what you prefer.
Yeah.
I made a TikTok the other day, and it was about like don't let other people tell you how to run your business, and I really just think that like that is so true, because again, like in talking about this, the way I close deals, you're gonna be like, damn, this girl's crazy, I would never do that. But like at the end of the day, like every brand is different. Every brand has its unique threshold. And like Kelly touches on this too. And she's like, you guys are all like having a spaz freak out. Like, oh my God, they're not paying me within like the day that I gave them the content. They gave me 30-day terms, or they want usage rights in perpetuity, but aren't ready to pay me $10,000 for it, because those are my usage rights. Like, no, that's not how it works, you know? So there's definitely a lot of like, you need to have a decent amount of business acumen if you're going to run a business. And when you're selling to somebody, you're going to realize there is no one-size-fits-all solution for every brand. So you need to figure out, because you're talking to them, hey, this is the vibe I'm getting. I think I'll be able to make this much. And then I will upsell them the next time. I'm going to deliver such kick-ass content that they're going to come back to me. That's sales.
Yeah.
That's running a business. That's providing a service. So it's really just like understanding your client, their needs, and how you can meet them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a lot. That's like really great tips, by the way. And I can see where like your background shines through.
Yeah. So like that's like the one thing that I feel totally comfortable giving people advice on is like negotiation, even like strategizing. I do negotiation literally every single day. Literally right now, every single day, negotiation. Your rate's too high, bring it down. Okay, well, we bring it down. Your service is going to be this much. You know what I mean? Every day. And I work with brands. That's the other cool thing about my job. Like I work with brands. So I reach out to really cool like clothing, cosmetic brands. I pitch to handle their logistics, right? But at the end of the day, like, do I know what like, I don't know, a brand like OVO could be moving? Potentially.
Yeah.
Because they're a client, potentially. You know what I mean? So it just teaches you. If you're able to talk to those stakeholders, it should be a breeze for you to talk to any other brand.
Have you ever kind of like gotten a brand from like, obviously seen a brand from your job and then you pitched out to them from your UGC business?
Literally, yes. I'm doing that next week, actually. So like there's this brand called 3 Ships Beauty, and I brought them on as a client at my job here. And I'm like, you know what? Like, I met the co-founders and everything, and I think the co-founders are going to be running that seminar. I was like, hey, it's me. I don't know if you remember me. My meeting with them was like 1.5 years ago, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But I have done that. Totally have done that.
That's so cool. That's like really great for you as well.
Oh yeah, it's super excited. But like, talking to brands doesn't make me nervous. Like I've worked with some really cool Canadian brands that are like very hype on social media, and it doesn't make me nervous. I'm like, they have paid my commission, right? So I'm like, let me make some more money for you.
I can do this. You already know.
I can do this too.
Was it hard, or has it been hard as a Canadian to find like deals? Because I know like in the US, from what I've heard, is like the best place to like get UGC deals. So like, what has been the hardest part of being a UGC creator in Canada?
Honestly, I feel like there is some truth to that. I did make a TikTok about that one time. I whined about it a lot. It bothered me a lot. But you know what kind of like got me out of that rut was, again, Sean. I met her. We all talked about UGC. But I was like, you know what? Like, yes, this girl has been at it for a very long time. Not a very long time. She literally started like at the end of 2021. So it's been like a year and a bit, year and a half maybe. That's a long time, but it's also not a long time, right?
Exactly.
And I looked at her, and I was like, she was consistent. She had a story. She had to, like, put herself out there, create all of that from something, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, what's my excuse? Like, this girl is sitting in Calgary. Like, she's in Alberta. I was like, really? Like, you're gonna just pretend like, you know, you're not able to do something? So I really had to get myself out of that mindset. Is it a little bit harder to find deals as a Canadian? Sure. Is it impossible? No. Do you have to work a little bit harder? Yeah. Is it worth it? Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, if you're getting inbounds, like now she's at a point where she's getting consistent inbounds, so she doesn't have a hard time. I'm at a point right now where I get inbounds, but they're not as consistent as, like, say, someone that's been doing it longer.
Yeah.
But when I send outbounds, I did have a brand tell me, hey, like, I'm not shipping in Canada, so, like, this is not going to work. And I'm like, okay, whatever, like, it's fine. But they answered me. You know, it's like a step in the right direction. I can kind of, like, go and look in different niches.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, I feel like don't let a Canadian, if anyone Canadian is going to be listening to this, like, hold you back. It's harder, but it's not impossible.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, there's so many more brands in America that would be willing to work with you. You just have to make sure you pick the right one. And there's Canadian brands that are beginning to pick up on UGC as well. I signed a deal with a Canadian brand like a month ago, and I just filmed the deliverables and sent it over, and they loved it. But I also saw that they're working with an American creator.
Okay.
Right? So, yeah, and like Ravina, I mentioned earlier, I saw a tweet from her, and she was like, I just signed a huge deal with a Canadian brand. So they're out there, right? Hers was an inbound, but that being said, like, they're out there. You just have to make sure that, like, you're targeting brands that are looking for UGC.
Mm-hmm.
Ads look like. UGC ads have a specific look to them, so make sure that you're keeping your eyes peeled.
Yeah. Do you feel like UGC compared to like the US is different in Canada as well? Because I feel like obviously the target let me see, how can I explain this better? So when I did the German video for this brand, obviously I did it in like the way that I knew UGC was from the US. Yeah. But because how people see UGC differently, I guess in Germany, it didn't translate properly. Do you think that exists as well in Canada, where like UGC, the type of UGC that exists in the US, does it translate as well in Canada?
Sometimes I think that like Canadian brands do get UGC and influencing mixed up.
Mm-hmm.
And then you kind of have to like differentiate that for them. For the most part, I find it's the same.
Okay. That's very interesting. I always I'm curious to know. I'm actually going to be talking to this girl from England next week. And I'm going to be very excited to know how it is different over there. I'd like to get someone from Germany actually too. Now that I'm curious to know
I have like a UGC bestie in England, and from the sounds of it, it sounds similar.
Similar as well?
Yeah, similar, yeah.
That's really good. I also want to know like how it is over there, because I know it's been a little bit hard to get UGC, but I think it's growing as well.
Yeah, she's killing it. My friend at least is really, really doing a good job. So I know there's a few girls from the UK on my Twitter log specifically. Mm-hmm. They seem to be killing it. So
that's good. Good for them. I love to see everyone like succeed in the UGC journey.
Same. Yeah. There's an opportunity for everyone. There's a million brands out there, so you gotta just find your place.
I actually had someone on Instagram that I was talking to, and she's from the Philippines. And it hasn't like reached out fully over there, but I was telling her, like, you know, just work with like apps at the moment. Like there's a lot of apps out there that are still looking for like UGC content creators, or even do like Airbnb and hotels too.
True.
Yeah.
Very true. Yeah. Yes. There's a pocket for everything, right? Like even if they're not calling it UGC, it could just be content creation. A lot of brands, organizations, local businesses aren't good at creating their own content.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe they have a hard time finding someone to do it for them. So if you can do that, that's amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I gave her the tips, and she's like, thank you. Hopefully it works out for her. Okay. What is something that you would like to see improve in the UGC community?
I definitely think that one thing I'd like to see improve. I feel like this could be controversial. I feel like a lot of people not a lot of people, even I call it, I think it's an amazing community.
Yes.
But sometimes they take community quite literally. You know, like if I or any other creator is posting their content on on Twitter,
Mm-hmm.
a flood of people will go and flood that brand's DMs, like, oh, like, I want to work with you, because they saw some other UGC creator do it. And I feel like that kind of like diminishes maybe like the trust between the creator and the brand, or the creators in the brand.
Yeah.
Because like now they're getting like, and a lot of times people get salty if you don't share like where you're getting your deals from, or like what brands you work with, so they can work with those brands. You work hard to make those relationships, and I don't think that it's fair to give them out. Now, that being said, if you have creator friends that you have vetted and you believe their work is good and you think that they'd be a great fit for the brand, by all means, I will tell you, like, yeah, go. Because it's my reputation on the line.
Right.
Like, I posted an opportunity yesterday on Twitter, and this brand is looking for creators, and I sifted through a bunch of portfolios, and I was like, yeah, like, I'm going to send the people that I've seen them, you know, hustling, I've seen their work and everything. But then I had people DMing me, oh, like, can you please send my stuff? Can you please tell me the brand name so I can pitch to them at least? And I'm like, no. Right? So, like, it's a community where we support each other, we help each other, we provide tips, tricks, support for if things aren't working out. But I don't think that like discussing brand specifics and like giving that information out is like fair.
Yeah.
Also, the brands that they're working with probably won't even give you time of day if they are inbound for them, right? Like they will not care because they have somebody that's looking.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can try, but like it doesn't sit right with me. I've seen a lot of posts where it's like, oh, like people here are two-faced. This isn't a community. No one's helping me, and I'm like, these people went and found their own deals.
Yeah.
Do the same thing. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a handout. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, you can't be expecting, like, everything to be handed out so easily, especially, I mean, yeah, I think you definitely have to work for it a lot.
You have to work for it 100%.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so big on that because I'm like, I don't want to diminish my relationship with a brand, right? For sending that over, or like giving that out or anything like that. So it happens, but hopefully, you know, I feel like maybe it stopped a little bit, but I don't like when people get upset that other people aren't sharing those things, because I don't think that it's their information to share.
Yeah, and it takes away from them to learn how to reach those goals for themselves as well.
Exactly.
And also privacy for the brand is important, I think, at least for me, that I imagine.
I agree, right? Like any brand, some brands have in their contracts that you can't share the content after you've sent it over. And some brands have in their contracts that you're okay to share the content, and maybe they have that clause because they're like, I don't want to be bombarded. I'm going to run your ad, and I'm going to run your ad. That's pretty much it. That's the extent to our relationship. So
yeah, no, that totally makes sense. I approve as well. I support. Okay, any last tips for other UGC creators that are starting their journey right now?
Yeah, like definitely just do your research. There's a lot of amazing free information out there when it comes to UGC. You know, you don't need to go out and buy anything. Just kind of like get creative with what's in your home. Educate yourself on types of, you know, like UGC, like direct to consumer, or like, you know, organic paid socials. Just educate yourself on all of that stuff so you understand the verbiage and you understand like what goes into those videos when you're making them. So like ads are completely different than organic, right? There's a whole setup, like your hook, your problem, solution, and all that jazz. So I think just like educating yourself is like my biggest tip, because I feel like everyone wants to start, then they get overwhelmed, and then they DM random people asking them for help, and like this is me. Like I get mad because I'm like, do you know how much free information is on my TikTok? Go and look at it. You're just DMing me, like, oh, girl, like boy, whatever. Like, what are you doing? So I definitely think do your research, do your research. Find a creator that you like, stick to that creator.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it. Those are my only tips.
Okay, great tips. And I mean, you've already shared so much knowledge as well too. So this is going to be very helpful for people that want to better themselves as well. But yeah,
Definitely.
like you said, this is also kind of like free information. I'm like, YouTube is free to use. And yeah, I also wanted to create this to like help other creators that are also starting their journey. Yeah, but that is all for today. Thank you so much, Mehr, for joining and for sharing all the juice that you have in your brain about UGC and marketing and everything.
No, for sure. It's a lot of fun, and I feel like it's nice to free resources for everybody, right? That's why I was 100% I'll do it. Why not just share all this information? So
yeah, and I'll make sure to put your social media, your portfolio, and the packages that you sell as well, for pitching.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I have a snip feed link. It's all just in there if that helps. So.
Okay. Yeah, I can definitely attach your snip feed link there on the notes. And yeah, that is all. Thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate you.
Have an amazing day.
Yeah, you too. And I'm so grateful to have met you as well in person.
Me
virtually.
too. We'll obviously stay in touch.
Yeah, definitely.
All right.
I'll see you later.
One. Bye.
And now the moment that you've been waiting for, UGC opportunities. Let's list them out. First, we have Her Pink Passport. They're looking for female travel creators with US-based audience. There's Nine Pine. They're looking for EU-based female creators in the fashion or fitness space for UGC. There's Red Tag, looking for Canada-based creators in travel and lifestyle space for UGC. There's Benjamin, a cashback and rewards app, looking for US-based creators for UGC posts. There's also Bettercast, hybrid and virtual event conference platform. They're looking for creators in the US, UK, Canada, and Australia. So reach out to them, y'all. They're looking for a lot of people for worldwide. Top of the Morning, again this week, they're looking for millennial and Gen Z creators worldwide in the coffee niche. So please reach out to Top of the Morning. There's Bib Wine Company, looking for UK-based creators in the food and drink space to make UGC. Amazing. There's Vista Social, an all-in-one social media management tool. They're looking for English-speaking creators with a large following to make UGC. Now, if you want to get more of these opportunities in your email weekly, there is a link on my notes for y'all to sign up to Brands Meet Creators. They have an amazing selection of brands looking for creators, even internationally, as you've seen in the list, every week. So please click on the link in the notes. Thank you so much for listening today. Mehr is an absolute gem, and I hope you put her tips into work, as will I. All of Mehr's social media links and portfolio are going to be in the notes in case you want to reach out to her or just continue to follow her journey, or brands out there that want to collab with her, reach out to her. Thank you so much for your support. Please subscribe, and leave any comments or suggestions, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.